Hello everyone, I hope you are doing good. Yes, from today we'll be starting our project. So this is just a dummy code. We'll be using the project will be done using this code blocks. If you don't know how to set up code blocks, link will be in the description, and all the code will be uploaded in GitHub. The link will be in the description. And if you face any difficulty and you want to discuss, you can link my Discord server where we can discuss based on all topics. That's all for starting. So we'll start with a new project and let's see what our first project is. So this is our first project. So let me read out the first project. We'll create a numeric progression using inheritance, polymorphism, and the basic concept of C++ and perform the following. Means what? We have to create a numeric progression. Just let me just make it. We have to create a numeric progression. Just make the P also. Sorry for that. Using inheritance, polymorphism, and basic concept of C++. We recently learned about inheritance polymorphism. So that's why I use this project so that we can understand easy way, and the basic concept will always be used. You already know that till up to files. So what are the question? We should perform this arithmetic progression, geometric progression, and Fibonacci progression. This is very useful even in academics, and you should know all this so that you get basic concept clear using all the inheritance, polymorphism, and all that. So if you don't know what this arithmetic, geometric, and Fibonacci progression are, so this is the hint for you. Arithmetic progression means it will have a divider d which will divide between two numbers. Suppose first number is a and second number will be a plus d, whatever is the divider. That form means it's like 1 2 3, so the divider is 1, will include plus 1 everything. So for the first number 1 is given, second number will be 1 plus divider. Suppose here the divider is 1, so we'll just add 1 to everything. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. That's how arithmetic progression works. It's like a plus d, and this will be a plus d plus d, so a plus 2d. And for geometric progression, it's here is the addition and here is just multiplication. So it's like if the first number is 1 and the divider means this is the multiplication, we'll do multiplication here. So if second number is the divider is d is here 2, so 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8, and so on. So that's how geometric progression works. And Fibonacci progression is like the first two numbers 0 and 1 are given, and the addition of first two is equal to the third one. So 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. It's like, I'll show you here, C is equals to A plus B. So whatever is in A and B, the addition of A and B is equal to C. So you can see 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, so on continuation. I hope you got all the concept of arithmetic progression, geometric progression, and Fibonacci progression. So now we can just code whatever we want. So just let's go to main.cpp. I'll upload the file in GitHub so you don't have to worry. So first of all, we need to create classes. So we'll create how many classes? Let's see. We'll create 4 classes, 3 for this and 1 will the default because we'll use polymorphism, and I'll show you what I mean. And we'll use 4 classes, and these 3 will be the derived classes from the base class. So we'll just go to our main.cpp and we'll create a class called numeric progression. Numeric progression, I just named it. You can name it anything. I name it numeric progression, and we'll name one more class, but okay, before that let me use something. We'll use the protected because we want this to be accepted. We can access this from the below classes, so we'll just use some protected members. Like we want the we want the first number and the second number first so that we can go further. So we'll just write two numbers. We'll just use long. You can use int, there's nothing for that, just int. And this is the first number, so this will be the first number that will be written. Suppose here you can see this 0 is the first number, this and this. We'll take these two values so that we can know what is the difference and we can continue here. So we'll just write here the first, and one more integer we'll declare is current. So current means the second number which is now popping out. After this we'll come to this number. This number will print by ourselves by using the functions and all that. So we'll use some more functions also. Just come down here. We'll use some in the protector. We'll use some function. We'll name it virtual because we'll use it in the next also. So we'll just write virtual and return type of int, and we'll just write some function. First value, write this function, we'll declare the function, whatever the functionalities we'll declare in the later part. You just, now there's nothing to new here. Okay, and next value. So we declare two functions, so you can see there is nothing new here. I think you got this till now. Now we'll write for the public, and let's come here and see whatever we will define for the public. We'll define like, first we'll write the constructor for this numeric progression. We'll just write numeric progression. And I'll say one thing, how we can initialize like the value of this first and current, how we can initialize all of them. So just you can use here, just use the colon and write first first, and here you can write something I. We did not declare what this I is. Okay, I'll show you. Just let me write one more. Okay, and yes, how does this, what is this I? We can put here something like int I. Now whatever value you use in constructor, this first will take up this value of I, and current will also take a value I. Earlier we did like, here we wrote here like first is equals to I. We can do it this way also, but this is more convenient, and try to use this because later on I will understand why this is more useful. So this is the constructor, and I already said you, whenever we write virtual, we try to create one virtual destructor for it. Just write virtual, the title sign, and the name of the progression, numeric progression. And that's how we created a virtual destructor also. So just now we'll use one more void function in function. Just write void, and just for printing out whatever the value we get. So we'll just write progression, void progression, print progression, it will be better, print progression. So we just put this. So this is one function just for printing out all the progression. We'll put slowly whatever value we want, we'll put it here, then we'll come. So just let's take one in argument here, just write one value. And so now we have declared everything. Now you can see the class is over. Now we will put what will verify what function should be inside all of this. So let's just come out of this class and do our initializing and functionality. First of all, let's take all this, the first value and the next value we'll put for all this first. So come down here, just return type and the name of the class. So name of the class is numeric progression, and scope resolution, and the first value, first value. So that's how we get it here. Now what we want to do functionality, for functionality we want that our current value, so you can see here the current value should be the first value. So our current should be equal to first, whatever the first value is should be currently, and the first number should be current now, and we'll just return out this current, return current value. You'll understand when we complete it, you'll understand what is current and first mean. So now just bear with me and just code it, and we'll write one more for this next value. For next value it's like, just write the class name numeric progression and the scope resolution and the next value. And what should it print? It should just print out the next value should always be, that means 1 plus of this, means just write current plus 1. So we'll write here, we'll do pre-increment so that we don't face anything like not increasing the value. We'll just write print current. So now these two functions are clear. Now we know what this function will print out. For the first it will return the current value, and for the second it will just increase one value of the current and return this type as integer type, because I named the type as integer. Now let's go back to our progression where we'll print out all the progression. So let's come down here, and this is the void function, and we'll let numeric progression, the name of the class, scope resolution, and come back here, numeric progression. Okay, there's new, no, it is print progression. So print progression, I think we added a indent. Okay, now we'll use a for loop here. So we'll just write for int I equals to 2. Why I add 2? I'll say you now only. Int n plus plus. Here 2, we added 2 because first we want to take the first value. Whatever the value is in the first, we want this to be printed. Then after that, this should be printed. So we'll start from 2 because 0 and 1 will get filled. So we'll just write before this, right here, cout first value. So now you can see first the first value will be printed, then the for loop will start so that we can go on increasing. And here we'll just write our next value. We'll just write cout and just give a space here and just write the next value. So now after the first value is printed, we'll run the for loop and the next value will get printed. So at the finish, we'll just end line. So cout endl. Okay. Now after finishing, we'll just end line. So this is our main base class. This will be our base class. So I hope you got everything. We just use some public member and some protected member. We use protected, not private, because we want to access this in the next class, means in the derived class, and these are all the values that we initialize. We'll just save it. Okay, now we'll declare the classes that we have to use. Now for the first, we'll do this arithmetic progression. Okay, now let's create a class called arithmetic progression. We'll just call arithmetic prog so that it becomes easy to read, and just write the class. So arithmetic progression is called, but we want to have access to this class. So we'll just write the public of this numeric progression. Now we'll have access to the numeric progression whenever we call arith progression class. So we'll just create some public and private member. So first of all, let's create a protected member. I'll show in the project where we wrote d. We said this is a divider. This is how increment and decrement occurs by using the value of d. So we'll just write here the increment. We'll just write int inc. This is the d here in the project. You can see this the value of d. This will be inside this increment. So and in the public, we can just write, we'll create a constructor for this arithmetic progression. We'll just write arithmetic progression and we'll pass an integer inside it, int I. Okay, we'll write int d so that it becomes easy for you to understand, because in the project we use d. So we'll pass this d and just close. Okay, now just close this. We'll initialize in the later part. In the protected, we'll add one more function so that we can, for the printing out the value, not printing out the value, just showing what the value should be. So we'll create one class called virtual. We'll create it virtual because we want this to be used in the later part also. We'll just write here int and we'll use this next value. This next value was used here. You can see what is the next value? Yes, this next value. So I said in what was that, in polymorphism, that we can use this, we can override the value just in the base class, but just using the virtual. We used in the virtual in the previous, so we can just change it here, and this is our new function. So our new function is created and our constructor is also created. Now let's define them. We'll just go here and create our class arithmetic progress, and the name of the, we'll create this. We'll just copy this and paste it here, and we'll do the initialization just we did like before. First of all, this is taking access from before, so we'll write this numeric progression, and it will take one more value, that is the kernel value. So it should increase this value, the value of d. This here, the whatever the value we will get here, we'll put inside the increment that we wrote it here. This one we'll just write here inc increment, and we'll take the d. We want that by default the value of d should be 1. So we can just write here d equals to 1, means if the value of d is not passed, then automatically the value of d will be 1. So that's how we can do that's how we completed this. So this is created, means the constructor is created. Now let's go to our this virtual function for the next value. What is the next value and what should be printed? So we'll just write name. It should return a type of integer. So name of the integer, name of the class is arithmetic prog, and use this scope resolution and the next value. So, and whatever we want inside this, and just pass it. What should the next value? Next value should be like the current value that we have here in the previous class. This current value should be now. We'll just write current plus equal. I already said you how to use plot. Is plus equal means, and we'll use the increment. So whatever the current value was, just put the value of the increment and return this current value. Return current. What does this mean? Just it will increase the value. I already said you can see in the arithmetic progression, we should just put the incremented value and return this, like a plus d, a plus 2d. Just put the value of d and return. So here also we did the same. In the current value, we just increase it whatever the value of d was given to us. So that's how we completed this arithmetic progression. Now for the next, we should do geometric progression. So we'll create one more class geometric prog. So this was geometric progression, and the class is created. Here also we'll print out the same thing, just we'll add the protected member first. Just type protected, and inside the protected we'll use one. Here you can see that in the geometric progression also we need the value of d, so that we can increase the value by just multiplying it. So we'll call it a base. So just write int base. Okay, that's and we'll create one more virtual function because we want this next value, same as like arithmetic progression. We'll just copy this so that you can see also what I'm writing. So this I'll just copy paste this, copy here and paste it here. We just want the virtual function, and now we'll create the constructor. We'll just write public and create the constructor. The constructor is geometric progression, geometric progression, and that's it. And we'll put a base here because we want that it by default it should have a value and it should accept some base also. So we'll just write here base b, and that's, and by default we'll pass it 2 so that it can give 1 into 2, 2 into 2, give a good value. So that's it. Now we'll declare this all this function. So first let's come to the constructor part and just write here geometric prog, and this will take geometric prog here, geometric progression, and it will pass here int b, whatever the value of b will be there, and just as earlier said, just use